Intro music.
A star for the ages for Tony Gwynn, number 3,000.
They have acquired Eric Johnson and Fernando Tatis Jr. from the White Sox in exchange for James Shield.
Welcome to Slam Diego!
My name is Joey.
My name is James.
This is the Brothers Padre, James.
And in this episode, we're recapping the week of Friday, September 2nd, all the way to Thursday, September 8th. A good week.
Wow, you remember dates.
Again, I have one job.
What's going on, James? How you doing? How you feeling?
I'm doing all right. I'm a little tired. I went to a baseball game last night.
How can you be tired when we went to an early baseball game?
Because I stayed up until 1 a.m. and watched YouTube.
Yeah, well, that's why you're tired. Not because of the 5:40 start baseball game you and I went to last night. 5:10.
5:10, yeah.
That was very early, which I'm a fan of. I like early baseball games. I got to sleep in. I got to be tucked in before 10. That's a perfect night for me. Yeah.
Okay.
Like head hit the pillow.
Had an image of your poor wife tucking you in.
Yeah. She knows the role.
Wow.
I'm kidding.
The thoughts and views of Joey.
It's a joke. It's a joke, people. Okay. James, shall we just jump into this week?
She doesn't listen to this, does she?
No.
Okay, good.
She might. She actually might, but she might only listen to the beginning, which means I'm very screwed. James, we made predictions this week. You said 4-1?
Yes.
And I said 3-2.
Yeah.
And at the end of the episode, we'll figure out who was right.
You only do that kind of induction when you've won.
Check the tape.
Last week when I was correct, you didn't do this. In fact, I don't think you read off who won the predictions.
Yeah, it wasn't as much. It's not as much fun when you win.
Okay. All right.
James, the Houston Astros are welcome into the finest city in the United States of America, San Diego. The Padres say, come on into town. We'll welcome you, you cheating jerks.
Dirty, dirty cheaters.
San Diego Padres put up their great pitcher, Jake Arrieta, to face him in the first game, and it was not good enough. The Houston Astros beat us 6-3. The Houston Astros had 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors, 3 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for the Padres. This game was marked by something we talked about last episode.
We're going to recap at the end of this episode. Yeah, Eric Hosmer.
Yeah. Eric Hosmer cost us 4 runs this game. Bad defense. Jake Arrieta only allowed 3 runs in 5 innings. 2 of those were off a 2-run homer that probably shouldn't have happened if Hosmer covered the first base. And then later on, Hosmer bobbles the ball. That allows another run to happen. So, not the greatest. But I'll go with the Houston Astros series and we'll look back at. How about that?
Yeah.
So Saturday we came. The Astros also came back into town because that's how baseball works. There's no 1-game series. Actually, there is 1-game series. There's one game series, but that doesn't happen till later.
Yeah. Hopefully the Padres are going to be in that 1-game series.
Hopefully. San Diego Padres welcome Houston Astros back in town, and we beat them 10-2 on 10 runs, 11 hits, no errors. 2 runs, 7 hits, and no errors for the Houston Astros. This was a fun game. This is when you and I said we're back.
Yes.
You and I said such things on a previous episode, and it was a fun game. Tatis homered, Machado homered, Myers homered.
All rolling up 2-run home runs. It was great.
Tim Hill doesn't get enough love. We give him enough love. We give him lots of love.
Yes.
Tim Hill has 19 first pitch outs this season, which is just crazy. People love swinging the first pitch when he's up there. Also, Tim Hill has 3 one-pitch outings this year.
He gets have to get one lefty out, and the lefty swings. This particular one, the lefty swung and ground to a double play.
Yeah,
because I remember maybe he'll texted me. Maybe he'll throw more than one pitch. Nope. Nope, he didn't.
Musgrove had a rough first 2 innings, but then settled down. But still looked great. And 10-2. Saying Padres then welcome back the Astros again on Sunday. And the Padres say, we'll win this one as well and win the series. We win 4-3, James, on the backs of one Jacob Cronenworth's game-winning home run.
Yep. Or as a popular YouTuber would call him Larry Cronenworth.
Larry Cronenworth, yes.
Check out Theo Vaughn's podcast where he calls him Larry Cronenworth. It's pretty funny.
Chris Paddock had the most efficient outing he's ever had in his career, I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Had 60 pitches into the 7th inning. And because the Astros had one game plan, that game plan was, we're going to swing all the time against Chris Paddock. And that game plan worked in the 7th inning when they had back-to-back homers, and that ended his night. But Jake Cronenworth seals the deal and walks it off in bottom of the ninth. James, what are your thoughts about the Houston Astros series? What are your thoughts and feelings? Anything?
Well, my thoughts and feelings about the Houston Astros have always been, why do I still have to look at Alex Bregman and Jose Altuve's face? I should, the next time, if baseball was fair and just, the next time you see Jose Altuve's face is when you pull into a Starbucks and he's handing you a drink. He should not be in sports at all. That guy, the entire Houston Astros cheating offense should not be in sports. I just, if they kick Shoeless Joe Jackson out of baseball for cheating in one World Series, these guys cheated for at least 2 years. They shouldn't be in baseball. But I'm glad we beat them. I'm glad we beat 2 out of 3. They're a good team. They have a good pitching. We beat all of them. Jake Cronenworth was awesome. It was a good series.
Yep. Mark Blanson had a weird outing this series. Mark Blanson, I mean, in a vacuum, if I told you that Mark Blanson walked 3 batters and threw 21 pitches, you would assume he'd also have given up runs.
Yes.
No. 0 runs scored. Joe West and Mark Blanson must be buddies because Joe West gave him some calls.
But Joe West was giving a lot of people calls.
Yeah.
That's one thing about Joe West. He's consistently terrible.
Yep.
You know his strike zone is wide. Mm-hmm. Also, Joe West, this has got to be his last season, right?
He's past he has more umpired games than anyone in history. He's got to be done.
He looks like just really sad out there.
No, I mean, I think there should be age limits to umpires. I said it, I think you should be on top of your game as an umpire.
I agree.
But, I will say one thing that's funny about Joe West. Joe West, on the day he passed, I forget which other umpire had the most umpired days, he just requested that the San Diego Chicken gave him flowers. And I thought that was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
San Diego Chicken flew out to Chicago on the White Sox field and gave him flowers on the field. And that's pretty funny. So.
It is really funny. That is. It's also funny that his favorite mascot through the years has been a San Diego Chicken.
We should probably do an episode on San Diego Chicken because he has a long storied past.
He does. In fact, that's a great idea for an off-season episode.
I'm looking at my production assistant right now. He's writing it down. Yeah.
You got that, Jamie? You got that? Okay.
Yeah, I got it. James, I don't have anything else to add about the Astros series. I'm very positive about it. You can hear our last episode. We were very high on it. I was looking for the Angels series. I knew you and I were going to go. I was there in the Sunday game. That was very fun. And I knew we were in the Wednesday game. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun time. I was looking for the Angels. The Angels have Shohei Ohtani. I'm very excited to see one of the most talented people who ever played the game of baseball. I was very excited for that. So I was like, I'm excited for the Angels series in general. Tuesday rolls around because we have a Monday off day. And we started a 2-game series against the Los Angeles Angels, formerly of Anaheim.
I was going to say Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, but not really, even though they are.
Yep.
Still in Anaheim.
The Padres start the best pitcher of the month of August in all of baseball, Blake Snell. And things are looking good, James, in this game.
Looking good. He had a perfect game through 6 innings.
Yes. Maybe I just tell the score. We didn't win this game, despite that fact. We lose 4-0. Blake Snell had a perfect game until the 6th inning. Walked 2 guys who end up on second and third. And Joe Adell hits a single, scores 2 runs. The first hit of the game is a 2-run single. This game made me question whether we're back or not, because the Angels pitchers aren't good.
No.
Objectively. Packy Naughton, though a great name of a gangster from the 1920s, isn't a guy that can, isn't an impressive pitcher. Herget. I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name. No disrespect, Herget. Jimmy Herget. Had a 10 ERA in AAA. The Angels are so starved for pitching, they brought him up. He had a 7 ERA in the majors before he started this pitched 2 innings against the Padres. Steve Cishek came in. Also high ERA. High-ish ERA. Couldn't score a single run. It was like it was crazy watching Blake Snell mow down Angels.
Yeah, he was mowing. He was Lucifer, just mowing down Angels.
Yeah, it's just like
it was pretty great. And then the offense just forgot how to hit. And the thing is, like, this sort of thing, it happens in baseball. You just all have a bad night. But it's coming off of the month of August where we had lots of these games, and it
makes you think maybe it's not a fluke.
Yeah.
That it, in fact, is a trend.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
What's weird about the next game is that it didn't answer any of our fears, despite us winning 8-5 on 8 runs, 7 hits, 1 errors, and the Angels had 5 runs, 7 hits, and no errors. Like, normally you'd be like, well, you got a bunch of runs. What if I told you all 8 runs were scored in one horrendous inning from the Angels? 3 walks with the bases loaded. The Padres walked 8 times, left 7 people on base. If you're named Adam Frazier, if you weren't named Adam Frazier, none of you guys were able to get a hit with people in scoring position.
This is true. Adam Frazier was the offense yesterday. He knocked in 4 of those runs. The only 4 runs that were actually scored on a hit. Everything else was scored on walks. I will say one thing. Will Myers, once again, did a good job this game.
Yep. He
was driven in by both times by Adam Frazier. He gets on base. It just, I don't know. It was disappointing that we left 7 on base because the Angels didn't throw a single good pitcher out all last night.
Nope.
And we left 7 on base. Not at the end of the second inning where we scored 8 runs. We didn't leave anybody on base because Adam Frazier knocked him in. I don't know. There was at least 3 runs we could have gotten more.
I think in the last year Padres, they score 4 or 5 more runs because Victor Caratini was the only person able to lift the ball apart from Adam Frazier. Right? And the pitching wasn't good. Right? Wasn't good pitching.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, every most of our guys got 5 at bats because they kept on walking us. We walked 8 times that game, right?
Yep.
4 times was in the second inning. That means 4 more times throughout the rest of the game. We were making their pitchers work, but it just didn't amount to anything. Fernando Tatis got a single, walked 3 times, or twice, and it was just. I don't know. Like I told you last night, we're probably the only ones leaving Petco feeling down at that victory.
It's one of those things where the Padres hitters just need to. They need to capitalize on bad pitching. Packy Naughton, Herget, like they're not good pitchers. And then we beat them 8-5, and it's we scored 8 runs on a horrendous set of pitching from the Angels, and then we can't capitalize after that. We rely on historically bad innings in order to score runs.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we were the only ones leaving Petco yesterday not happy.
Yeah, it was weird vibes leaving Petco. And yeah, I don't know if you want to talk about this, but like the bullpen also is, our bullpen is, we don't really have a 8th inning guy that we can rely on. Nelson Lamet came in this game, and he, allowed a 2-run homer to Juan Lagares. His stuff looked good, but just he floated a slider up there, and Lagares hit it out for 2-run homer. Daniel Hudson came in, looked fine, good, gave a 2-run homer to Joe Adell. And in the game before, Pagan came in, allowed 2 runs. There's not really an 8th inning high leverage person, right?
Not that I'm aware of, no. They're the best person, probably. I mean, they'd have to give the next chance to Pierce Johnson, right?
Yeah. Or you just play Tim Hill as long as you can.
And hopefully Austin Adams has one of his good innings.
Right. I mean, so just like in a close game this weekend against the Dodgers, I talked about this a lot on the drive home yesterday. Like, who's your guy? We're down 3. We're up 3-2. Who's the guy that gets the 8th?
As of right now, it's Austin Adams or Tim Hill, maybe Pierce Johnson, and those guys weren't supposed to be the high leverage guys.
No.
Supposed to be Pagan, Hudson.
I mean, it was supposed to either be Pomeranz, Kela, or Pagan.
This is true. But next year we're gonna have both of those guys back.
Rough. Yeah, I don't know. We end the week 3-2, James.
Very good. One more thing we have to talk about the Padres. A plus side for that game is
Yeah.
we got to see Fernando Tatis Jr. make a phenomenal double play.
He did.
He caught the ball in right field. The Angel tagged and tried to run home, and he threw a laser shot to home plate to get him out. It was
awesome.
It's awesome. They said, "Hey, he's a new outfielder. Let's test his arm." And Tatis like, "No, I have a good arm," and he knocked him out. It was really awesome.
Yep. It was super fun to see. Dude's an athlete, so he's gonna be fine wherever he's at. I think he probably should belong in the shortstop long term, but yeah, he's 97 mile an hour. What's it called? Just was the throw was registered at 97 miles an hour. Very, very, very good.
And there's one more thing we have to talk about this game before we go into our final thoughts, and that is Joe Madden an idiot? Because and it seemed like a fair estimation that literally half the Japanese population in San Diego was at that ballpark. Half the Japanese Americans that live within 60 miles of Petco were at Petco Park last night.
We saw Japanese Otani jerseys. We saw, I don't know,
Japanese Darvish jerseys.
We saw so many Otani jerseys. was bananas.
There was two of the biggest Japanese stars were in the field last night. Hugh Darvish, who has one of the largest followings on Twitter.
Yep.
And it's all Japanese. It's all Japan that follows him on Twitter. And literally, like, the whole country of Japan follows him on Twitter. And Shohei Ohtani. And everybody has been looking forward to seeing Shohei versus Darvish.
Yep.
For the longest time. And Joe Maddon's team is under 500.
Yep.
I know you need to give people days off, but Shohei can rest another day. There's no reason whatsoever not to have him pinch hit against Darvish. That place would have gone
bananas.
But yeah, completely berserk. And we were just, the entire game, we were just sitting like, oh, it's going to be so great when he gets up there. The place is going to go nuts. The amount of people that were waiting on pins and needles to see that, but it didn't happen. And I blame Joe Maddon for whatever reason he didn't bring him out.
So it's twice late game he had opportunity to. Tim Hill comes in the 7th, I believe.
Yeah.
And a lefty, and Madden's like, I'm not going to let Shohei get beat. So I'm going to bring in Kurt Suzuki. And everyone's like, well, he's not the best hitter in American League. So
not the Japanese player anybody came to see. Nobody wearing a Kurt Suzuki jersey. Nobody.
I mean, he did get on base, so what do we know? And then the 9th inning rolls around. And
there were women in geisha outfits. There was a whole row of Japanese ladies in geisha outfits holding "We Love Darvish" and Ohtani signs. I cannot stress enough how much 40,000 people wanted to see something happen, and it was so frustrating.
The last batter of the game was known good hitter Kian Wong. I think at the time, he was batting 171. And it was versus Mark Melanson, and it was an 8-5 game. So I don't know. And if Kian Wong batted 9th. So this is where my little dumb brain thinks is like, hey, maybe it's a good idea to try to extend the innings so you can win. Maybe the subpar third baseman with a much more talented brother shouldn't be the one who's trusted to turn over the top of the order. Maybe use the guy who has done things not even Babe Ruth has done. Maybe he's the guy that should be up to bat. No. Joe Maddon's like, no. Kian Wong's the guy. And Kian Wong, not a good hitter.
Grounds out to third base.
Not a good hitter. So, of course, he gets out.
And the thing is, like, even if Shohei ground out to third base, the crowd would have went nuts.
The All-Star game this year, Kevin Cash is like, Shohei has to start and bat first in the All-Star game. Why? Because we're an entertainment business. Also, like in a real game, the best solution for the Angels to win was to have Shohei Ohtani in that position.
Yeah, exactly.
Righty pitcher, lefty hitter. Leads all the majors in homers. Yeah, that guy should pinch hit. No. It was so befuddling to me just to see, because there was a time Ohtani got his batting gloves and we're like, oh, he's going to come up. And then he was third in the order and you saw Ohtani get batting gloves on and then no one got on base. So then he was asked not to pinch hit because you're only valuable if you hit 2-run homers, not solo shots.
And this is my thing about the Angels. The Angels are not a good team.
No.
They could have been a good team, but half their good players got hurt.
And they have no pitching.
No pitching. They're 2 games under 500. You have legitimately a star that people are driving to see. It reminded me of, remember back in 1998 during the home run race?
Yeah.
Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa.
I'm surprised you brought up 98. You rarely do.
I know. You would think that's the only year I remember.
You would think.
But there was a lot happening in baseball in that home run race between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa.
Uh-huh.
Mark McGwire was the reason anyone went to the baseball game.
Oh, yeah.
All right. And Tony La Russa had to announce before the game started, it is going to be a Mark McGwire day off. A complete day off. Like, he's not even going to pinch hit.
Right.
And then half the crowd wouldn't show up. But he said he's going to sit down today. He might pinch hit. People still showed up because of that.
Yep.
Right now, Shohei Ohtani is the only reason people even care about the Angels.
Yeah.
Because they want to see this guy. And it's ridiculous that they didn't throw him out there. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And come on, read the room, man. Read the room. There were so many people out there wanting to see Yu Darvish and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. It was just bananas. James, we make predictions on this show. Most of them are wrong. At the end of the year, we'll go back and see how great we are at predicting. Spoiler alert, not very good.
Not very good at all.
But we look forward to the next week of shows we're going to recap. And we're going to recap a full 7 games.
Oh, boy.
3 against the Dodgers, 4 against the Giants. The Dodgers, we are on the road the whole time. Friday, Saturday, Sunday versus the Dodgers. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday against the Giants. What do you think our record is going to be the next 7 days?
My happy brain says 5-2. My logical brain says 4-3. So I'm gonna say 4-3.
We face Urias, Bueller, and Scherzer, but we bring up Musgrove, Paddock, and Snell. So I like our chances of starting pitchers. And the Dodgers are scuffling offensively. They just lost a series to the Cardinals, or split a series in the Cardinals. And they're 2.5 games back from the Giants, so they're in a little bit of a funk too. Oh, I wanted to come from last night's game being like, we're actually back. The Angels series did not help me at all. We faced Dodgers and Petco, and they swept us. We didn't show up to hit that series. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think we're 3-4 after the next 7 games.
Okay.
I don't think an off day fixes our offensive problems.
No. I do think if the Padres want to win, I don't care. We put Adam Frazier in. Adam Frazier is hitting. Adam Frazier is one of the best hitters in baseball. I don't understand why he's not starting every day. I understand he's like a Jake Cronenworth with less power, but he still gets on base. And I think if we want to win, and if we cannot have Hosmer start. It just can't happen.
I think for us to win well, we need to play the hot hand, and that's not Hosmer. That's Myers. Frazier had a great game. He's having better at bats. I think Profar has to start more too. And do what happened in that Houston series happen more often, right?
Yeah.
Either Hosmer is instantly replaced once the righty's gone, and as a lefty person reliever come in, and because Hosmer's just not a good defender. You just can't. You cannot tell me he's a good defender. So if he's not a good defender, he gets late inning replaced.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. It's not.
Because if we wanted to play the best defense, and
Right.
we don't really care if we have all the offensive guys, most of our offensive guys were firing on all cylinders, we would have Kim at short and Cronenworth at first.
Right. I don't mind that either. I don't mind them hey, we want Cronenworth to stay. We want Cronenworth. Say if it's a 6-1 ball game in the 8th inning, Cronenworth's the first, Kim comes in the shortstop. Right? I mean, that's...
Yeah, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And that's, that's we have to see that kind of managing the next 7 games. But also, we need to see our freaking guys hit balls in the air that go over the fence. Like, homers are cool, and we used to be very good at hitting home runs, and now we're not. We're grounding out. We're having bad at bats. And that's just not going to cut it against the two best teams in baseball.
No, not at all.
And we used to be able to beat the Dodgers very well. And now we used to have to turn it around. And I after the Dodgers series, I'm going to have... Because if you are a Padre fan, you know the next month is going to be the most difficult part of our schedule, right? Dodgers, Cardinals, Braves, Giants. We play Giants and Dodgers a lot. And
if we can come out of this 7 games still in a wild card spot, I think we're in good shape.
I agree with that. I won't feel good if we're 3-4 and still have a wild card spot.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, man.
Because you're like, oh, so we're still just falling upward. James, but we got some more baseball. You know, Giants, Dodgers, and Padres have been fun, and maybe it'll be fun again. You know, maybe Tatis finds his groove again, hits another 5 home runs over a weekend in Dodger Stadium.
It can happen. He likes it in Dodger Stadium.
So that'd be fun. Anything else to add before we go, James?
No. Play Ohtani.
Hear that, Matt?
I can say.
You're still bitter about it. You're bitter about that more than the Padres' losses this week.
I just felt bad for everybody there. There was so many people there just to see.
Also,
Ohtani.
I wanted to see a generational talent hit.
I know.
I wanted to. I would like to have seen that. James, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube. We're everywhere where good podcasts are found. We're on Twitter at Brothers Padre. Thanks so much for your continued listenership. And until next time, James, go Padres.
Go Padres.